Imagine opening your eyes every morning with a sense of energy, clarity, and certainty, knowing that the day ahead is not just another routine loop, but a real chance to evolve, to move forward, and to finally take ownership of your life. Now, be honest with yourself. How often do you actually wake up feeling like that? For most people, mornings feel heavy. You drag yourself out of bed, stuck in a fog, trapped in patterns that no longer serve you, running on autopilot without direction. The truth is simple but powerful. The way you begin your morning doesn't just affect the first hour. It shapes your entire day, your mindset, and eventually your life. The Stoic philosophers understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself that each morning is a rare privilege. To be alive, to breathe, to think, to feel, and to love. Today we're going to translate that ancient wisdom into practical action. Simple morning habits that help you master your mind and reclaim control over your day. And before we go any further, if this message resonates with you, if you feel that your mornings and your life could be more intentional, more grounded, and more powerful, do me a small favor. Hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but it helps this channel reach people who need this message right now. Let's be honest. Most of us have a love-hate relationship with mornings. The bed feels safe, warm, comforting. The snooze button whispers lies of just 5 more minutes. But here's a truth. Few people want to admit early mornings are a massive advantage. This isn't motivational noise. It's reality. Those quiet hours before the world demands your attention, before emails, notifications, and chaos take over. That time is pure gold. Picture this, waking up just 1 hour earlier than usual. 1 hour. It may sound small, even uncomfortable at first, but that hour becomes a sanctuary. A space with no interruptions, no expectations, just you and your thoughts. You plan your day, set intentions, read something meaningful, something that grounds you in perspective and purpose. Seneca once said that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. The fear of waking up early is often worse than the act itself. It's not the early hour that holds you back. It's the story you tell yourself about being tired, miserable, or unproductive. By rising earlier, you shatter that illusion. You prove to yourself that discipline is not a prison. It's freedom. Yes, it will feel uncomfortable at first, but growth never lives in comfort. Carl Jung said it perfectly. Those who only look outward remain asleep, but those who look inward awaken. That extra morning hour is where that awakening begins. Clarity emerges, problems lose their grip, purpose starts to form. Now your alarm rings. And what's the first thing you reach for? For most people, it's coffee. That familiar jolt, that comforting ritual. And no, coffee isn't the enemy. But here's what we often forget. Your body wakes up dehydrated. Hours without water leave your brain and nervous system struggling. What you actually need first is water, not caffeine. Start your day with a full glass of water. Think of it as a reset button for your system. A small act, but a powerful signal. You are choosing clarity over habit. Epictetus reminded us that progress is built daily, through consistent self-discipline. This is one of those moments. Your brain is mostly water. Even mild dehydration affects focus, memory, and mood. Rehydrating first thing in the morning is like gently switching your mind back on. And as Jung warned, when we act unconsciously, we call it fate. This simple choice, water before coffee, transforms an automatic reaction into a conscious decision. It's a quiet form of self-mastery. Your morning is sacred territory. a blank canvas, and yet most people hand it over immediately to their phones, emails, news, social media, chaos. Within seconds, anxiety enters the room. Marcus Aurelius warned us, "You have control over your mind, not external events." Every morning scroll surrenders that control. Delaying your phone, even for 30 minutes, gives you back your power. You choose your thoughts instead of reacting to random input. As Jung said, "We are not what happened to us. We are what we choose to become." And that choice starts the moment you wake up. Some mornings feel heavy. Your body is awake, but your soul feels like it's still being dragged behind you. Your limbs are still. Your head is foggy. Motivation feels non-existent. But here's the truth. Most people get wrong. You're not lazy. You're not broken. Your system is still asleep. Your eyes may be open, but your body hasn't caught up yet. And until your body and mind are aligned, you're running on low power. So what's the fastest way to switch everything on? Move. Not an intensity workout, not punishing yourself before breakfast. Just movement. Gentle, intentional, even slow. Movement is your body's way of saying, "I'm here, I'm ready, let's go." A few stretches, a short walk, some squats, a couple of yoga poses, that's young, just enough to wake up your nervous system, enough to get blood flowing, enough to remind your brain that you're not a machine, you're alive. The Stoics' valid physical strength not for vanity, but for vitality. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." And that includes energy, discipline, control. Morning movement isn't exercise, it's a ritual, a quiet act of self-respect that eyes through your mood, your focus, and even your relationships. Carl Jung believed the body and mind are deeply linked. He said the body is the visible expression of the psyche. So if your body feels stiff, locked, dormant, what message is your mind landing? That it's stuck, suppressed, exhausted? Move the body, and the mind often follows, not the other way around. And there's something else. Movement is an emotional reset. Anxious? Move. Stuck? Move. Sad? Unmotivated? Uninspired? Move. Motion breaks stagnation. You don't need elegance. You don't need choreography. You just need to start. Because once momentum kicks in, everything changes. Energy risks, clarity sharpens, and suddenly, you're no longer drifting. You're steering your day with purpose. Seneca warned us, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And let's be honest, how many mornings are wasted lying still, scrolling, waiting to feel ready? Don't wait. Don't negotiate. Move before your excuses wake up. There's a moment right before stepping into a cold shower when your brain screams, "Nope, not today." And that fact moment, that resistance, is where transformation begins. That hesitation, that urge to retreat, that's your comfort zone fighting back. But if you're searching for mental strength, emotional clarity, or simply a sharper start to your morning, cold water is the door. No filters, no fluff, just you, your breath, and your will. Yes, it's uncomfortable. It's supported to be. The Stoics deliberately faced discomfort, not because they loved suffering, but because they understood something we often forget. Comfort breeds weakness. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should fear never truly beginning to live. In a world obsessed with avoiding discomfort, stepping into cold water is a declaration. I choose courage over easy. Cold exposure shots you into the present moment. It forces deep breathing, focus, control. That's neuroplasticity in action. Your brain learning to handle discomfort with calm install of panic. Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists." And that resistance to cold, it mirrors every other discomfort you avoid. Fear of failure, criticism, uncertainty. face the water, and you start learning to face life. Cold shows build fortitude, mental resolution. Seneca trained his body and mind for hardware, not for pain, but for strength. This is modern resistance training for your nervous system. You step in, you breathe through the shock, and you prove to yourself, I can endure discomfort. That confession doesn't stay in the bathroom. It follows you into work, relationships, and challenges. Physiologically, cold showers boost alertness, blood flow, and endorphins. You don't need coffee to feel awake. You need courage. And remember, start small. 30 seconds is easy. One burst of cold. One small win. The Stoics believe virtue is forged through action, not theory. This is your action. There's power in giving shape to your thoughts, turning inner chaos into something visible. Most people carry endless loops of worries, to-dos, judgments, memories. Unchecked, that loop becomes a trap. That's why journaling isn't a trend. It's mental hygiene. A few minutes with pen and paper can bring more clarity than hours of overthinking. No rules, no grammar police, just honor. Dump everything out. Worries, ideas, frustrations, gratitude. Don't edit, don't polish. Marcus Aurelius did this daily. His meditations were never mean for others. They were tools to keep his mind sharp and his ego in check. Jung believed the unconscious constantly speaks to us. Writing is how we listen. When you journal, patterns surface. Hidden fears appear. Old stories reveal themselves, and clarity follows. Seneca said we should examine ourselves daily. Morning journaling isn't about the past. It prepares your mind for what's coming. Lack of direction creates anxiety, not because you're doing too much, but because you don't know what actually matters today. That's why goal setting is essential. Not huge goals, not distant dreams, just 3 clear tasks. 3 things that move you forward. Business isn't productivity, clarity is. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you must do. Small, finishable goals create momentum. Completion builds confidence. Your mind is hungry in the morning, and most people feed it junk. Doom scrolling, outrage, noise. If you feed your mind noise, you get confusion. If you feed it substance, you get strength. The Stoics believe your first thoughts should be chosen. 10 pages of meaningful reading can do more than hours of scrolling. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings with reflection, not chaos. You lead yourself by what you console. Visualization isn't fantasy. It's training. When you see yourself responding calmly, acting with purpose, overcoming challenges, your brain rehearses success. The Stoics practiced this mentally long before neuroscience confirmed it. You're not wishing, you're preparing. Gratitude is not weakness, it's armor. Your brain naturally scans for problems. Gratitude redirects that focus. Seneca said nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart. Gratitude grounds you. It steadies you. It restores perspective. Stoic wisdom isn't ancient decoration. It's daily armor. One sentence, one idea. Held in your mind, it shifts how you respond to everything that follows. Your thoughts color your soul. Choose them carefully. Subscribe to the channel Interesting Facts in order to learn new interesting facts regularly. Support the video with a like and write a comment. This helps the development of the channel and the release of new videos.